Hello everyone. In today's video I will be going through my new and updated shelf organization. So I know my last video regarding my shelves was only a few months ago, but I have since then consolidated everything into one shelf instead of having it split by I think black and white and color as previously done. And so I just wanted to go through my changes because I will be doing another album, Downsize. So I don't anticipate on having maybe like a fifth of these albums anymore. So I do want to go through and showcase how I decided to organize everything before things eventually become parts of other people's collections. So up here is my first shelf, and as you can see it is mostly white. I will soon zoom in and show you everything in detail, but I did want to just show off the fact that, or maybe not show off, but I did want to show that because I am using limited space here, I do have quite a few albums laid out horizontally with more albums on top. This really isn't something I suggest, but if the album on the bottom is tough enough and is like the actual fully box shape and not just a photo book, I think you can get away with it. On the bottom I have Infinite's Begin, which is their latest album, and then I have a CD and then a Kino on top, and all those are pretty light, so I didn't really see an issue with stacking them like that. To the left I have a lot of my white albums or lighter color albums that just happen to be a little taller. These shelves are adjustable, but I don't really know how, so I am kind of stuck using whatever height that they're at already. But you can see that I have a fan site photo book, some taller Ace albums, a CIX album. This thing covered in plastic is a fan site photo book, and then only one of NCT Summer, NCT Pentagon, NCT Infinite, another NCT Dream, and then Infinite. In the back I have a lot of my signed albums, and because I am decorating by color, a lot of the white signed albums are just going to go into the back. I have quite a few Astro back there, my only one of concert signed album. I think the one next to it is a Pentagon signed album, and then more Pentagon, and then CIX, and then Infinite, and then that's an SF9 album, as well as the SF9 Lightstick box in the back. Up in front I have my concert cup sleeve from when I went to Korea for Infinite's concert all the way back in 2016. For the next shelf I can use my tripod, but it's going to be a little off center because I can't figure out how exactly to place my tripod in the right area, but hopefully this is good enough, and then I'm eventually going to take the camera off so I can zoom in and show you all the details. So if the first shelf was my white shelf, the second shelf is going to be my black shelf, and let me zoom in so I can go through the details. Because this shelf is also one of the taller ones, I have a lot of my big photo book albums in the back. So I have my Take a Leap albums. You can't really see too clearly, but those are my signed albums from when Golden Child came to the US and when I managed to see them in 2 stops. I can't find a plastic sleeve big enough to actually sleeve them, so I'm hoping that the signatures are okay, because everything else that is covered in plastic, as you see here, is signed and also, you know, protected to a certain extent. Even my 2 SF9 albums to the side over there are also signed, but they're signed inside the photo book, so there's really no point in me plastic wrapping the outside, but I guess it's more of a reminder to me that, hey, those are the ones that are signed, so if I ever decide to sell, not to touch those albums. This little jar over here is full of my candy from when I go to music festivals. That's another big hobby of mine. Very time consuming and very expensive, so obviously I am not smart when it comes to choosing what hobbies to engage in. But back there I have a bunch of my Pentagon Invite You fan sign albums. I do usually have the signatures sticking out a little bit more, but my name is addressed on them, so I just didn't want to go through and waste a bunch of post-its covering them up. So there you have it. I am trying to figure out if there's a better way for me to stack them so I can fully show off the signatures, but it's kind of difficult given my lack of space. Up next I have a zine, which is the Hades cookbook zine. Zines are another hobby of mine. They're essentially like fan-made magazines. So it's a collaboration effort with fan artists and fan writers, and this one was for the Hades video game, and this one is also signed by Darren Korb, who is the voice actor of Zagreus, as well as some other people. Then I have my Gravity signed album from their concert recently, and then Pentagon, and then CIX, and then here is my little knick-knack jar, I guess, that has my CIX concert ticket and a bunch of freebies that I haven't really decided what to do with. And then up here I have my SF9 light stick, not light stick, sorry, what is that, fan light technically, and then some fan merch of Jujutsu Kaisen, which is a pretty good anime. Very, very behind, and I am not a manga reader, so I don't know what's happening, and I think that is a good thing because I hear the things that are happening are not that great. So ignorance is bliss. Underneath that is another black shelf, or darker color shelf if you want to be super specific. Oh, I guess I should have talked about that. Up there in that corner, not sure if you can see the SF9 Sensuous album, but I bought that off of someone who apparently went to Korea and did a fan sign with them, because they do have a signed note with a question from Jaeyoon, so that's pretty interesting. I haven't checked the photo book to see if the photo book itself is signed, but I do have a doodled note from him, which is kind of nice. Don't know what it says, I haven't put it through a translator or anything, but I guess it's just nice to have something like that personalized, especially because it was kind of cheap and I really only bought it for the photo cards. But, you know, cool things came out of that. So my next shelf is my, as I mentioned, darker shelf, and larger albums are to the left because, once again, that is the only place where they fit. I have a bunch of my CIX albums right there in the middle. Those will be downsized, actually. So I think I mentioned this very briefly, but one of the reasons why I am doing this video today is because I will be taking out the albums that I will be selling. I have taken out quite a few CIX albums in particular, and because I took out my photo cards according to the album, I'll have to come back and actually choose the corresponding album so I can sell them together in a set. And I guess that just makes it easier as a seller and as a buyer in case they're just looking for very specific members. 2 Polaroids over there that I will not be flipping around to show people, and then I also have my CIX light stick that I decorated very nicely and then subsequently dropped a few times at the concert, so as you can see it is missing quite a few of the gems that it did go to the concert with. I don't know what's up with that light stick, but every time I drop it, like, the entire bulb part just comes off, so I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because I guess I prefer it to come apart like that instead of just shattering completely. On the bottom I have my, what is that? I think that's a Season's Greetings photo book, The Dreamy Fantasy for SF9. And then I have some other large photo books, albums from Golden Child. Those are all, I think, A4 size, so they're kind of bulky. And obviously, given how packed this shelf is, they couldn't really stand up to the side, so I decided to just put them horizontally like that. I have my SF9 light stick box to the back, so I do have both versions of the black and white SF9 light stick, which is funny because their fandom color is like Fantasia hologram. It's supposed to be rainbow, but they have a black and white light stick. But I guess that also fits their overall aesthetic of being like rich boys, I guess. And then those plastic wrapped little platforms in the back are from Kino's Pose fan signs, so those are also dedicated to me in my name. In the back there I have quite a few other albums tucked away, so I have Infinite, SF9, a signed Unique album that I will also probably be selling, and then some concert DVDs. I also have an ATEEZ Halazia, that black album back there, that is a little damaged, so I'm not sure if I'm able to sell that. I don't know the ethics of selling a blind album that's damaged. And then up there we have my NCT Dream albums. As you can see, I've had no other room in this entire shelf, so they go horizontally, as well as those CIX and Infinite albums. So a downsize is much needed, and I am honestly looking forward to it. even though I do actually have quite a few albums coming in. I think I have 7 albums in the mail right now, but I think those I will be keeping and not including in the downsize. They were free, pay for shipping essentially, so even if I do decide to sell them, I wouldn't be taking too much of a loss at this. So you can barely tell, but in the back is a Yuta from NCT 127. That's a, I think, Regulate album. Can't really read the title from here. It is Regulate. I will be selling that and seeing if I can use that profit to find a Hichan or Taeyeo cover, because that was also a gift from a friend from that big NCT haul a while back. Yuta was her bias, Yuta is not mine. Like, I haven't decided if I want to keep it or not. I don't mind it, but it's like in the back, kind of hidden away, so it's not even really part of my collection, and it's not really displayed either. Here in the stack on the bottom I have a big infinite photo book, and I'm not worried about that being damaged because it's a pretty heavy photo book in itself. So that casing is pretty durable. And then I have some, let me see, I think this is AO from NCT, and then this is a fansite photo book, and then Hello Future from NCT Dream. My Yowan Men's Health magazines where he's shirtless in the cover, so that's not going to be displayed. Some more NCT albums, and then some other zines I'm in, and then that is my Pentahouse photo book from Pentagon when they did that variety show. It's signed by Usok, and I kind of wish I had more space here so I can display it instead of having other albums on top. So that is going to be a priority of mine, to see how I can manage to display it amongst everything else I have. And then these 2 albums, this is my CX album down here, and then a Boys Next Door album. That was part of the clip that was corrupted, so it's not in my monthly Open Mail With Me video, but I helped a friend proxy for some Target exclusives for Boy Next Door, and they didn't want to keep the album, so I'm keeping them, but I'm probably going to be selling those as well. I have a signed Astro album down there. I don't like how I have it on the ground like that, because that's honestly one of my favorite albums of theirs, so I do want to see if I can display that as well. And then in the back I have my signed ATEEZ albums from their latest comeback. I think it's Outlaw, it looks like it's Outlaw. Either way, they did Bouncy. Really like that song, did not care for the B-sides, so I think those albums will go as well. And then here to the right I have some more blue, purple, green albums. I have Pentagon's jewel cases, and I tried to make a unboxing video of that because that was a super big group order that I had, but I ended up running out of steam, so that didn't happen. Some NCT poster albums, and SF9 jewel cases, and you can read the rest of the titles over there. But this shelf I do want to thin out a little too. I think I discussed this in my photo card dropping collection video, but I do want to start to consolidate my album collection a little more and just only collect groups that I actively follow. Like that N-Flying album I bought because I went to their concert and I ended up having a really great time, but I don't follow the group at all. Like, I was having a conversation with a friend the other day and I couldn't remember 2 of their names. And so if it's at that point, I feel like I don't really need to keep the album in my collection, and I can just hold the memories that I have fondly from their concert, and nothing more and nothing less. It's probably the same with my Gravity album, so I do feel bad about potentially selling that Gravity album, especially because they signed it personally in front of me. But at this point, I think I can only remember 3 of their names. 4. Yeah, I can only remember 4 out of their 9 names, and so I don't see the need to have it in my collection. Like, I already spent that money to go to the concert, and I enjoyed it fully. Like, I don't think I am losing out by selling the album. I don't think it has any place in my collection because I already have the memories stored in my hard drive and in my mind. But who knows, I might decide to get a little sentimental about the album because it is something they signed in front of me, and I do remember some of the conversations I had with them. So here was that last shelf. And then down here we have the actual last shelf before we get down to my binder collection. So on the left I have a bunch of my red albums, red, orange, yellow, gold albums, whatever. Some big NCT albums. I have 2 Neozone because one of them's kind of damaged. It's not damaged badly, but the pages are coming out a little. So I might be getting rid of that one. And then it's NCT Dream, I think it's Hello Future, and then an actual Men's Health magazine with a cast from Top Gun Maverick. Really love that movie, side note. Then an SF9 album, and then a zine, and then that is a box from a music festival that I went to in 2021, and then more albums. Down here we have more horizontal albums. I am probably going to be getting rid of this entire stack right here so I can give myself more space. I decided to drop most of my 80s collection, so I don't need to keep the album. And then Astro, I didn't really follow them that era either. So I think I'm only going to try to keep albums where I was either emotionally invested in the music or in that era. In the back there, I actually have quite a few signed albums. So I have an extra CIX signed album that I bought from their concerts when they came back. And then I have an SF9 album. I think that's O Solo Mio. I don't really care too much about that era, but I bought that album for $15 shipped. So, it's staying. And then another NCT album that was given to me. And then I have a cup sleeve event cup in the back. I didn't go to that cup sleeve. I picked that up from the Golden Child concert because that is Tag, who is my bias. And then I have some more doodads and knickknacks in front. There is a signed Astro album underneath all of this stuff. And I do want to display that as well because that is from... I don't remember the album name. But I remember the title track is Blue Flame, and that could be the album name, I don't know. But good era, that was probably the last era that I really followed Astro for, so I do want to pick that up and display it. And then to the right, that's basically almost an entire NCT collection, plus SF9, plus Pentagon. And then down here, this is the very last shelf before it hits the ground, and this has all of my binders. So all the way on the left, that is a miscellaneous binder for fansite goods. I used to be really big into collecting fansite merch, so I would have a bunch of big posters from them come in, and I also have a lot of fans, or uchiwas. So all the fansite merch is mostly in there, and those are all for Infinite, or I put other official large posters in there as well. That skinny black binder is for other merch like stickers or like postcards for anime, because that is another thing I sort of very passively collect. So it's fan art merch like that. And then the next binder is an SF9 binder, as you can tell by the SF9 banner. And then the binder with 2 red strings on it. That is my miscellaneous / every other group binder that doesn't go in a main binder. And then this next, I think it's 2 inches, can't tell. It's either 2 inches or 2.5, I think it's 2. That 2-inch binder has Oikawa and Iwaizumi from Haikyuu on it, and then also a little Pentagon freebie that I received. That is my Pentagon binder that has all of my large inclusions as well as photo cards for every era but Invite You. The reason I chose to put that little Oikawa Iwaizumi sticker there is because one of their names is my username for my social media, for my K-pop accounts, so it just reminds me that, hey, I look at that character and for some reason I associate him with K-pop. So there he goes. And then up next in that, I think 1-inch binder, that is my Golden Child binder. That actually has quite a bit of space in it. Meanwhile, my SF9 and Pentagon binders are basically filled to the brim, so I might need to pick up a larger, maybe 2.5-inch binder, but we'll see. I decided to consolidate my binders very recently because I wouldn't look in my large inclusions binder, even though I do like collecting them. So having them all in one place kind of forces me to look through them. Or not forces me, it encourages me to look through them because I do like going through my binders, but I don't like opening a bunch of them individually. Which is also why I am starting to move away from collect books as well. So this little holographic one, it used to be an SF9 Seasons Greetings, but now it holds my CIX and NCT collections. I'm keeping them in there for now because I am running out of A4 photo card binder pages, so I don't want to buy more as of right now, so I guess my collections will still go in there until they eventually outgrow it or until I decide to downsize a little more. That Invite You album case is my Invite You era / 2022 Pentagon era minus Kino's pose. So Seasons Greetings cards go in there, the album cards, pre-order benefits, and I think even their ring merch all went in that binder. And these collect books, the white one and the two black ones, that black one is an unofficial one that I made, and the black one on the bottom is, I think, an NCT one. It might be official, but it's from Residence Era that my friend gave me. Those two up there are empty, and that bottom one, the NCT one, it holds just a bunch of NCT freebies that I have. People made freebies of their star cards from Superstar SM, and I put those in that binder because I just think they're really nice. Then I have my overflow of extra NCT albums that I bought for the sake of collecting their pre-order benefits. And then I have my fan kit / Seasons Greetings / I think that's it. Yes, Seasons Greetings and fan kit boxes. Those are all big. They're all about like 1.5 inches, so they do take up space. But right now they're all empty. And I don't know if people actually dispose of their Seasons Greetings / fan kit boxes because they are bulky, but they are technically also part of the collectible. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But yes, that is everything from my album collection. Really happy with everything, and then I will be ending this part of the clip here, going through my binders again, and then you can watch me pull out the albums that I decided not to keep. Actually, just kidding, I'm not going to do that. I think that's really time consuming, and that also means that I have to reorganize my collection right here and now to make sure nothing falls over. But I will probably just take another clip and show you what happens to this collection when I take everything out. Be right back. Alright, so I believe that this is going to be everything that I will be downsizing. So these are all the albums that I took out of my collection and will eventually start selling off. Some of these will come with inclusions, like I believe that the CIX ones will come with all inclusions. This Dongwoo from Infinite, that will come with inclusions as well, and the 80s ones, the 3 signed 80s ones will too, but I think this is like 20-something albums that I took out of my collection, which still leads me to around over 100, because I mentioned that I do have 6 more albums coming in the mail, so I need to think about that and consider downsizing a few more. But as of right now, this is what I am happy with, and my shelf honestly does not look any different. Yeah, overwhelmingly the shelves maintain most of the same characteristics. The CIX shelf below did thin out a little bit. I'm not gonna go all the way down because I flipped around the Polaroids and my fan sign albums, but I think generally speaking, mostly everything has stayed the same. So I don't know, maybe it's just a matter of me needing to organize my space differently, because I thought that taking out almost 20 albums would make a difference, but I guess I took out all of the thin ones. Who knows? But I am happy with the way things are now, and hopefully I'm not due for another downsize anymore. So that is everything, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and that you continue to watch to see how my collection shrinks or grows. See you next time.